All right, so before I head out, I gotta get a haircut. So you can see I'm a little scraggly. I'm in my place right now. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, Midtown to be exact. Now, what I'm bringing is this big old book bag right here. Here it is right here. Now, this book bag is all the camera equipment, all the audio equipment. What I have in my hand right now is my iPhone, right? Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at a property that we're thinking about wholesaling instead of locking this down into buy and hold. And as we're gonna review it, I'm gonna meet there with one of my business partners, and I'm actually gonna shoot him, right? Not you know, video-wise. I'm actually gonna shoot him actually doing this thing. So that's why I'm filming with the iPhone today. Now this particular property, we're considering wholesaling over locking it down as a buy and hold, simply because it could be a quick, easy money for the two of us. No credit, no cash involved whatsoever. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna meet with my business partner. He's gonna talk about the numbers in the deal, and I'm gonna record him with the beast that's in that bag. So that way you guys can see behind the scenes what goes on in a day in the life as a real estate investor, online entrepreneur. So let's hit the road. Here goes my baby right there, one right here, the I-8. Ooh, look at pretty. All right, guys, I'm about to get my hair cut, and we're gonna look at this property. Now I'm here at the barbershop, just finished listening to that new 50 Cent book. It's a motivational book, and it's pretty good, I have to admit. He's spitting some real hard facts, some truth, some wisdom. And I got one takeaway so far, not finished yet. But he said, it's not practice that makes perfect, it's passion makes perfect. And it's so true, right? Me getting started in real estate, of course, you know, getting started, you know, you have some slips, some falls, you bump your knee and so forth. So you fall down, and you know, there's some bumps in the road getting started. And of course, you know, going through something new for the first time and experiencing all these mistakes could put a damper in your motivation, right? And can kill it even. But if you're passionate about it, if you're truly dedicated towards it, to the point where if you fall, you get back up, you fall, you get back up, you fall, you get back up. And of course, you learn from each mistake, you take it as a takeaway. Then it's like, after a short matter of time, you perfect your craft. And that's the key. All right, so speaking of perfected craft, I'm about to go to my barber. So I drive all the way from Midtown to Marietta, because this dude's perfect at his craft. There's the barbershop right there. You see behind me, that white building right there. So I'm gonna get this fresh cut so I can stop looking like a bum, a scraggler, or whatever term you want to use. I know, I just gotta get this shape up because it's the weekend. All right, guys, let me hurry up before I'm late. But after this, we're going to see the property, baby, on Misty Lane. And I'm about to head to this property. As I shared, we're thinking about like locking it down, meaning actually buying it, to see if we can make this a buy and hold property long term. But we're more so interested in wholesaling this property so that can be a quick turnaround income. All right, well, my partner, so I'm about to go meet him right now. All right, man, I'm hopping in the Batmobile. See you guys in a few. All right, so I'm here at the property. I'm just waiting on my partner to arrive. You know me, I like to be punctual, a little ahead of time, because if you're on time, you're late, right? I'm a huge respecter of other people's time. You know, I have to make sure that I'm here ahead of time. So I got the beast right here, so you guys can see. That's the equipment with the Rode mic and so forth, getting the vlogging vibes on. So why am I here today? I'm here to discuss a wholesale deal. So if you guys are new to wholesaling, I'll briefly explain what that means and what it entails. Wholesaling is getting a property under contract. More than likely it's distressed. Maybe like this property outside of here. It's distressed and needs some TLC. Sometimes it could be in good shape, but majority of the time it's distressed. It could be a foreclosed property. It could be a property, not necessarily foreclosed, but it could be a property in which a motivated seller wants to get off their hands, right? It's a headache. Either they're a landlord and they're just tired of it. They inherit a property they don't want. They mismanage it. Whatever the case may be, it's a problem and they want to get off their hands. And so a wholesaler like myself or Ivan comes along and says, hey, motivated seller, we would love to take this property off your hands, assuming the numbers work. Meaning, hey, you might own this free and clear, Mr. Seller. And being that it's beat up and so forth, hey, we'll get this off your hands for a certain price. Then we have a buyer's list, right? We have a list of buyers who are flippers and buy and hold investors here in Atlanta, Georgia, who would like to acquire properties, right? Even if they are distressed. Why? Because their end game is either to fix it up and rent it out, or they're going to fix it up and flip it for a profit. So what we do is we get the property under contract, we lock it down, we wholesale our contract to another end buyer. So we already have it under contract with the end buyer, okay? Next week, early next week, we should be closing the property. And so what we get is what's called that middleman income. So you might be thinking, well, how do you get middleman income? Well, we close, it's called an A to B and a B to C contract. A to B means that's the contract between the seller and us, Ivan and I as wholesalers. So we get that in the contract, and then we have another contract with B to C. And B to C is Ivan and myself and the end buyer. And we have something that's in the middle called an assignment clause, right? Where we're assigned or contract with A to B to B to C. And that's where we make our spread. And on this deal, we're expected to make about $7,000 in total, right? So it's not too much, right? Especially if it's split between, you know, our company, because we're looking to scale this up as a company, not so much as mom and pop, but mainly just having like a good business model behind it, right? That's why I said he's more of like the day-to-day operations guy. And so yeah, so we're gonna take a look at the property. We have the lot box up front, and do a little bit of filming. So just kill two birds with one stone. But that's pretty much wholesaling in a nutshell. Okay, it's very simple to do. It's low startup cost. So out of all the real estate strategies, whether it's buy and hold, whether it's flipping or wholesaling, in regard to the amount of time you spend, you actually get more bang for your buck wholesaling. Meaning, if we made $7,000, and let's say we spent maybe 70 hours on this deal, which we didn't. We did not. But let's say we did 70 hours. That's $100 an hour, which is decent, right? And for us to wholesale this property in a month's time or less. So it's a very simple process that you can do. Is repeatable, and you can average, let's say, $5,000 per wholesale deal, just depending on your salesmanship skills, negotiation skills, and your marketing skills. The only downside to wholesaling, it does require time, right? You have to go back and forth a lot with the seller, making sure that person is locked down and committed, and the buyer, because sometimes the buyer can get cold feet, you know, or they might have other deals and might not be able to do it. So it's important to have an extensive buyers list. So if one buyer is not able to move forward, no worries. I got many other people who may be interested in this property. Here he is, speeding up, looking clean in his Jag. Nice cars, ladies and gents. But with the Psalms 28. So I got the beast right here, looking like a videographer. What's up, man?
What up, JP?
What's up? So this is Ivan, guys. I'm just vlogging.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Looking good?
Good, yeah.
Feeling good?
Yeah. I look fresh, don't I?
You do, bro.
I look pretty.
looking nice, bro.
Cool.
Looking nice. So we're at the property, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm just doing a little vlogging before we start recording you. So can you tell us about this a tad bit?
Sure. So we got this deal. I think one of our associates, Joseph, was getting this. He was working on them for a couple weeks. They were kind of hardballs for a couple weeks, but they got motivation to sell.
And you're talking about the seller, right?
Yeah, the seller.
Hardball on what, the price?
Yeah, they started at about 150. So Joseph, after days of trying to make it happen, I basically just came in and said, hey, sign this offer today because we gotta get this thing moving. Our contractors are about to finish another job. Created urgency basically. And so that same night they signed it. Got them to talk to like the husband and the wife to get together on the decision to move forward. So we got it under initially at about 130. Houses around here are actually around 400,000 plus. There's even new constructions as high as 500,000. And we came to find, after we were trying to wholesale this for about a week or so, we got feedback that it could be better margin and faster closing if we got it at an even lower price. So I convinced the seller to come down even lower to about 120, using just straight up facts, like there's more work involved in this thing that we didn't anticipate. So I used that as leverage to be able to negotiate that. You can see some of the the siding over here is bowing, so we use that as leverage. But you want to also approach those conversations not like overwhelming the seller.
Yeah, like you're driving a hard bargain.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, this is a garbage property, you're never going to get rid of it. You want to have a kind of a rapport. You kind of also want to inspire them to think, oh, I want to get on their side. I want them to win also. Like make a win-win scenario. Like one of the things I even go as far as asking is, do you want my company to go under from a bad deal? Like, of course they're not going to say, yeah, I want your company to go under. Yeah. Especially because they have other properties, right? And we could buy those other properties. So people ultimately want the best for you, but there's different ways to approach the conversation. Another example is like mirroring, right? Like if they talk in a slower tone, hey, like softer, then you kind of want to talk the same way back to them.
They talk like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Woody Woodpecker. Yeah, so there's different techniques.
So it's mirroring, right? So it seems like you're a student of not just sales, but negotiations.
Yeah.
Because this is a people-based game, right?
Exactly.
So it's not just about people, which we sometimes forget as real estate investors when we're getting started, but also about the numbers. Mm-hmm. So you can share with the numbers. So you said they originally wanted 150. You talked them down to 120.
Ultimately, right now, 120, yes.
Okay. And we have an end buyer who's going to buy this property. Mm-hmm. And what is that on the contract for?
For 130. Yep.
130. Okay. So that's about a 10,000 spread.
Yep. And that's the close in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of work needs to be done? What would you estimate the rehab cost to be? Since you have to share these details with the end buyer.
About $150,000 to get this thing up to date. Adding some square footage in that at a minimum. So, but there's always different levels of finishes that you would want, right? If you were just going to rent this place, obviously you're not going to spend $150,000. If you're wanting to do a high-end finish that is more like 2,000 square feet, closer to a property maybe across the street, maybe closer to 1,500 square feet, that could be like a medium-end finish. So it could range between $100,000 to $150,000, depending on what you want to do with it.
Nice, nice. Now, I know before we discussed there was going to be a $7,000 spread, and now you say $10,000.
Oh yeah,
so that's good news.
There's an agent fee in there. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Just want to clear that up.
All
right, cool.
It's always good to have agent contacts too, because you never know when they know a buyer.
Okay, and let's talk about time per hour spent, right? If you had to estimate the total amount of hours, whether it's through Joseph, through yourself, spent on this deal, how many hours would you estimate?
Oh, so if I round up, just not even counting like 5-minute conversations, if I round up the first conversation with them, you know, I'll just round up to an hour, getting them to actually sign the thing. Am I including Joseph's time too?
Yeah, total time spent, yep.
Initially, probably 3 hours just checking in with them every couple weeks. So we're at 4 hours so far. I spent about another hour or two trying to get buyers, right? Sending the email blast, posting on Facebook, just doing a couple calls. Another 3 hours there. 7 hours so far. Getting the contract for this new buyer, maybe another hour. The agent actually even wrote the contract, so I didn't even have to do that. So we're about 8 hours so far.
8 hours. So just to make the math easy, if we say 7 hours to make 7,000,
yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good chunk of change.
An hour.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I think I said $100 an hour. My math was way wrong.
It depends on the deal, right? Because we made a deal happen as big as $75,000. That took about 3 weeks, but we got it at the right price. So that ended up being like 20 to 30 hours between about 3 different people.
Okay, would I be wrong in saying, Ivan, that networking and marketing is pretty much like the lifeblood of wholesaling?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a relationship-based business. Yeah, that's why keeping to your word is such an important thing in this business. Because to keep that relationship, to even build more relationships, you got to keep to your word. All
right, speaking of words, so we're going to go over this video, right? So we're going to do a short video because Ivan, he also educates on how to wholesale, right?
Yep.
Virtually from home.
Yep.
Any market.
Any market.
Any market. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's called Camp REI. And so any place you go, we'll show you how to find the buyers through, we'll help you figure out how to get those records, who's actively buying in that market, like in a major city, Chicago, or even really, we found out in Southern Illinois, there's even single-family homes, you know, in the really suburban area that could be amazing rental properties. So hedge funds love those sorts of properties. You could really find a deal anywhere. And in Southern Illinois, I found out you could buy a property for like $10,000, $15,000, and they're renting for $800. People just want to get out of the property, but there's still rental need in that market.
Wow. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. So shout out to you. So what we're about to do is just take a look at this property and start filming, guys. But we'll catch you later on the flip side. Cool. All right, guys, just finished up filming and checking out the property. So we met with this guy who wanted to do some measurements on the property. It's for the end buyer as well on that property. So we're about to go grab some lunch. Now, typically I don't eat lunch or breakfast, just dinner. I eat 1 meal a day. But you know, when you're hanging out with people that you do business with, you gotta break bread with them too, in a literal and figurative sense.
Make 10 grand in the middle. And I have people approaching me about real estate wholesaling all the time, so I decided to just make a live webinar about this stuff so everybody could learn. So on August 6th, 7 p.m., check it out. Hit the link below.
Cool, I'm just watching recording, so I recorded him using the Beast and just going over it before I upload it to YouTube later. And I'm just having my second lunch because I like to eat 1 meal a day. So I had a sub sandwich. I'm just going to, you know, pretty much chop down this salad. But it was a great day today. It ain't over yet. Got a lot of stuff to go through, but that's the beauty of, let me switch the angle, hold on. But as I was saying, that's the beauty of real estate investing, right? To the point where you can have passive income that it removes you from the constraints of the 9-to-5 world. Meaning you can work whenever you want, with whom you want. And that's amazing. Where working is an option, but not an obligation, right? So being that I have financial freedom through my rental properties, I spend my time wholesaling now here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's another business I picked up, as well as doing online business, YouTube, of course, as you guys are familiar with. So it was amazing, right? So being able to give back, whether it's through my time being spent or my knowledge being shared with many people across the United States or across the world, right? It's an amazing feeling. So I highly encourage you, get started as you are. You know, if you want to get started in real estate, you can as you are. It's just that you have to be mindful that you got to bring something of value to the table, whether that's the competency, the know-how, the credit, and or the cash. It's possible. So shout out to Ivan. You know, I was just reviewing some of the content. You might see it a little bit later on his channel. But day's not over yet. I got another guy coming over here. He's a producer. So if you guys listen to the podcast, the People's Mentors podcast, just check the description. You want to learn more about it. He helped produce the podcast and so forth. So we're going to come and just pretty much chop it up. He's a producer, so I'm going to film him as well. You know, I need to start renting this thing out right here. Everyone's going to say, hey, Juan, can we film? Can I borrow your camera? Hey, I'm going to say, oh, yeah, we can. You got rent? I'm going to start leasing this thing out, right? All right, guys, so if I share it, I will. If not, then so be it. But hopefully you enjoyed this vlog. If you found value, please like, share, subscribe, and comment below.